Welcome back to Planet Shib, everyone. This is Ace. Today we're going to be talking about the best preparation which you can have for the coming ShibaSwap Liquidity Event. I'm going to talk a little bit about the ShibaSwap Tokenomics, and I'm going to focus particularly on Bone, on the Bone token. I've got my Bone token calculator here. If you're familiar with my previous videos, you know specifically how this works. I'm really excited for today's video, because as you know, ShibaSwap is it appears as if it's days away from being released, and this is the kind of video you probably have been waiting for. If you're not prepared for the ShibaSwap liquidity event, I'm hoping that this video will definitely help out with that. Before we get down to it, let's just have a quick recap on some important news which has come about within the last 24 hours. As you know, we've heard from the official Twitter and the official social channels that the website has been updated, shibtoken.com. They have released version 2 of the Wolf paper, which has got all the details about the tokenomics and the ShibaSwap event. The audit has been finished. We have, as you know, for several weeks we've been undergoing an audit to test the ShibaSwap, and they'll be having an AMA with the developers in a couple of days. And also all the testing has been done. If you've seen any of those videos on YouTube already, you see we've already seen the interface of ShibaSwap, and that's all coming up. And just to let you know, in today's video, I'm actually going to talk through heavily on the tokenomics of the Shiba Inu ecosystem. I'm going to talk through aspects of the Wolf paper, which has just been released. I've dug really deep into it, and I've been able to update some of my data and some of my calculations. And I'll talk heavily upon exactly how much Bone is going to get minted throughout the entire 14-day process, and exactly how much goes into each different pools, whether they be staking, burying, and also for the developers. I also have a segment where I'm going to talk about liquidity pairs, exactly what they are. Many of you are new to DeFi, and you might not know exactly what liquidity is or exactly how important it is. I'll tell you right now, it is very important if you have if you really want to get the best out of ShibaSwap. And I'll also go very much into detail about all the pairs and exactly how much Bone is going to get minted. And I'll give you a show of exactly my position in SHIB, and my potential position in Bone based on my calculations. Just remember, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I just, like crunching numbers. I've got a spreadsheet, and I've designed this calculator for the SHIB community, So it's for entertainment purposes. So let's have some fun. All right. It's good for me, I think, to lay a foundation of what Shiba Inu is and what it isn't. Shiba Inu isn't just a coin or a token. Shiba Inu is an ecosystem which shows like the relationship between these tokens, between the tokens and their relationship with the broader tokens within, particularly on the Ethereum blockchain. And most of this is going to get brought together by ShibaSwap. ShibaSwap is a protocol which is going to allow us to be able to exchange SHIB for other tokens and Ethereum for other tokens in much the same way which Uniswap has. So this is going to bring a lot of utility to the Shiba ecosystem, and ultimately it's going to impact the price. I'll talk a little bit about the liquidity events, and particularly how the tokenomics work. If I talk a little bit about the tokenomics, we've got 3 tokens: SHIB, Leash, and Bone. And it says here on the Wolf paper that on ShibaSwap, your Shibas will dig or bury for Bone and other Wolf returns. And the best trainers can even teach their dogs to fetch, which allows the pup to exchange one token for another. So now they're using the Shiba terminology there for some DeFi concepts, which I'm going to talk about in detail shortly. So basically how the ShibaSwap is going to work is, most of us have one or both of the following coins. We've got Shiba Inu and Leash. The ShibaSwap protocol is going to allow us to stake or bury our SHIB tokens or our Leash tokens into the ShibaSwap system, and then and we're going to get rewarded for burying or digging for our tokens, and the rewards are going to come in the form of Bone, which is going to be this new coin, and Bone is being minted as soon as ShibaSwap is launched. Currently there is zero supply of Bone, but as soon as ShibaSwap launches, Bone is going to start minting, which means tokens are going to start being created. And we're also going to get rewards in the form of transaction fees. We're going to get a percentage of transaction fees every time a swap takes place. We're going to get percentage of Ethereum, and in some cases a few other stable coins. But I'll talk in detail all about that shortly. But some of you might be wondering, okay, so why should I even bother? Why should I even bother burying or staking or farming for any Bone? So that's a good question. I'll help you understand. So I'll jump quickly to my Bone calculator, and hopefully I can help you see the value in ShibaSwap and what is about to happen. So currently there are no Bone hasn't started being minted yet, so obviously it has no price, but it will have a maximum supply. Once all of it has finished being minted, it's going to have a maximum supply of 250 million. And if you look on the Wolf paper, it's going to take approximately, I think, maybe 3.5 years for all of those bones to be created. But most of that is going to take place within the first year. In fact, a big significant portion of it is actually going to take place within 2 weeks. That's the liquidity event. And in those 2 weeks, that's when we have opportunity to get this bone. You might be thinking, okay, that's nice, but so what? Well, I just want to hold on to my SHIB. Yeah, you're completely welcome to hold on to your SHIB, but let me just show you something. If, for example, after the liquidity event, or even up until the end of the year, you're somehow fortunate enough and you've played your cards right, especially if I show you how I think is best to do it, and you're able to get your hands on 500 bone, okay? And the value of bone is going to start increasing. Currently, according to this is currently the SHIB token. The current price is about 7,379 according to this calculator. Myself, I invested in SHIB in April, an amount of 1,000, and that was about 379 mil. And my $1,000 investment in SHIB at the moment, it's valued at about 3,797. So it's a bit more than doubled. I'll just do what I usually do, and I'll just quickly verify that. I'm just going to come on to CoinMarketCap. The price at the moment is 7,319. I'll quickly jump back so I can adjust that. 7,319. I don't really have to adjust it, I guess, but I will. So that's the current price, and that's exactly how much my SHIB has increased in value from 1,000 to here. So this is the Shiba Inu calculator. I'm going to go to the Bone calculator. I'll back to the Shiba Inu. We have a market cap in SHIB of about 2 billion. At some point after the SHIB event, let's just say SHIB launches here, we're going to start seeing this market cap slowly increase. So let's just put, what amount is that? 1 million. And that's very, very possible to get 1 million. How do I know that? Because the other tokens, for example, Leash, which is also called Doge Killer, has a market cap of about 244,000. That pretty much means 244,000 million of this token has been purchased, and this is actually quite a difficult. It's got a very high price, as you can tell, because it's got a low circulation. It's quite pricey. It's like one token actually costs 2,000. And even at this price, we've been able to get 200 million. So I mean, we've been able to. I mean, people have purchased 244 million worth. So if I was to put into my calculator, at the very least, because we'll definitely at some point be able to at least match the market cap of the leash token. I'm just gonna. So right now we've put that at 240. Now, can you see what's that's done? So now the 500 bone which I have, suddenly the price of bone is just under $1, but and that means I have about 4,800. And where did this come from? This all came from rewards which I had just from staking. And obviously, as you can tell, the way that this can increase is if the price increases, or if I continue to accumulate bone. So the easiest time, the best time for us to be able to accumulate these is going to be during these 2 weeks, and that's the purpose of this video. I'm just showing you this just to answer people who might be wondering, why is this important? So currently, it's very likely that within at least a year and a half, we'll see the market cap of this get to, I don't know, at least 1.5 billion. So I'm just gonna, I'll hypothetically say by middle of next year, let's just say May, by then 1.2 billion market cap. And that may seem high, but currently our market cap for SHIB is 2.8, and we've maxed before at about 14 billion. So there's definitely room in the Shiba ecosystem for these to grow. So I'm still being extremely conservative. Now have a look. We now have a 1.4 billion market cap, and those, if you managed within this 2021 to get your hands on 5,000 bone, you from just from rewards without even putting anything in, you now have $28,000. Now, for many of you, this is more than you have even invested already into SHIB. Many of you have invested in a lot less amounts. But if you're able to get your hands on bone, as you can see, so hopefully that helps you see the reward. I've shown you my position already. Let's jump straight into the liquidity event. Okay. Now the liquidity event. Reading from the latest version of the WOOF paper, it says here, to get ShibaSwap off on the right paw, we're having a 2-week liquidity event. Now, during these 14 days, 1,000 bone per block will be minted for allocation pool user returns. After this, the rate will be reduced over time with a decreasing algorithm. That's pretty much saying that during the first 2 weeks, over here, let me see if I can increase this, just so you guys can see better. During the first 2 weeks over here, there's the rate of bone is going to be minted very, very high, and then shortly after that, it's going every day after that, less and less will keep getting made. And then it goes on to say that during the liquidity event, 1,000 bones per block will be distributed to farming pools. 50 bones per block are going to be distributed to burying pools, and 100 bones per block will be given to the development wallet. Don't you worry, I'll explain all of that pretty much right now. Okay, let's jump into where we're going to go next. The liquidity. Okay, now let me explain. So this is the ShibaSwap liquidity event. So every 13.2 seconds, now we're getting into the tokenomics now. Every 13.2 seconds, 1,000 bone is going to get minted. That means 1,000 bone token is going to get created. Now, in 2 weeks, that means a total of 91,636,363 bone are going to be created. Now, and this is how much is going to be minted and allocated towards farm pools. I'll explain what that is later again. And also during this time, during these 2 weeks, every 13.2 seconds, 50 bone are going to be allocated, are going to be minted, and this is going to be allocated to staking pools, and there will be a maximum of 4.5 million, which is going to be minted there, and same thing for the development for the developers. They also have their mint allocation during this liquidity event. So if my calculations are correct, I could be out, but then this is more so to explain the concept. There's going to be this many bone created. That's 105 million bone created. Now, you see how big, how significant that is. In the lifetime of bone, 250 million are going to be minted, are going to be created, and that's going to take about probably 3.5 years. However, in the first 2 weeks, over 1 million are going to be minted, and they're going to be allocated into these parts here. So most of us are going to be staking. What staking is when you take it's kind of like putting your money into a bank and earning interest on it. Most people are probably going to be staking. It's the safest option because it's low to probably no risk, because you're just planting your SHIB into. Let me see if I've got a diagram. Yeah, so staking, or we call it burying in the SHIB community. So when you here is it. When you bury, here's your SHIB. When you bury it, you go into a staking pool, and your SHIB, it gets converted into what's called XSHIB. That's another type of token. And whilst it's buried into the ShibaSwap protocol, you're going to be earning 3% of all bone which is produced on the block. Well, you're going to be getting your share of it. So your share is going to be pretty much how much SHIB you have compared to how much SHIB everyone else has. As a percentage of that, you're going to get you're going to get a bit of bone, and also 0.1 of all Ethereum's swap fees. So every time a swap transaction happens, you'll get 0.1% of the transaction fees, because each swap incurs a transaction fee, and we're going to get a part of that. And in addition to that, it looks like part of those transaction fees are going to get converted back into SHIB. So you're going to get, and actually, instead of just reading it off here, that's actually what it says in the WOOF paper. I'll let you guys read that for yourself. But then, just for staking, you're going to get quite a lot of rewards. And basically, the bigger your stake, the bigger that you contribute, the more rewards that you'll ultimately get back. And there's the staking pools available for different tokens. Different. SHIB is pretty big. It's got 2.7. So you'll get a share out of this. However much SHIB you have compared to everybody else, as a percentage, you'll during the liquidity event, you'll get a small fraction, of that, or a big fraction if you're a big holder. And same thing for each of these. I hope that explains that. So that's pretty much staking. I'll try and see if there's anything I left out. So the next kind of way which you can earn bone is through, we've explained staking or burying. I really should use the common term, the SHIB term. They call it burying here. The other way you can do it is called digging, and in DeFi usually that's called farming. So what that means is we're going to provide liquidity into the ShibaSwap ecosystem, and when we provide liquidity, we also get rewards. But I need to draw your attention to something right now. If you have noticed, liquidity providing liquidity gives a lot more rewards in the form of bone than does staking generally. This is because there's a lot bigger risk, and I'll explain to you what that risk is. It's high risk, high reward, and that's what we're going to have to be sort of playing on over the next couple of weeks. So I'll try to explain to you what providing liquidity is. Okay, basically digging or farming. So what will happen is you take your SHIB, and then you can create a pair. You can pair it with any of the pairs which have already been allocated. There's special pairs which you create with various tokens, and those tokens have been given a weighting. Based on how much bone you're going to get. For example, bone F has a weighting of 3,000. SHIB F has a weighting of 500, and they all have different weightings, and that's the weighting which is going to determine how much bone you're going to get. But don't worry, before this gets a bit more confusing, I'm going to try and explain it a bit more. So exactly what some people don't even know what liquidity is. And that's totally fine. I didn't until I read this stuff. So let me see if we can even just jump onto Google and see if we can find out what is liquidity in cryptocurrency. Okay, hopefully this is a good definition. In its most simple form, liquidity refers to how easy it is to convert cryptocurrency into cash quickly. And whether this can be achieved without the asset's value suffering. So that's a pretty good definition. Let's see what does liquidity mean in cryptocurrency. Okay, in terms of cryptocurrencies, liquidity is the ability of a coin to be easily converted to cash and other coins. I think that's it's more or less the same. So hopefully that's a good definition, a good standard definition. I'm going to explain to you what a pair is. Over here, these are all the pairs. All I've done here is I've just converted this data here from the WOOF paper onto a spreadsheet just to make it easier. Yep, I just did that to make it easier. So all these are pairs of tokens. Here are the pairs of the tokens, and their weighted amount, what's called an allocation pairing. And all I've done is I've converted that into a percentage. So this is what happens when I add up all the allocation pairs for each of these given tokens. They add up to about 5,950, and I've just given those a weighting, a percentage weighting. So basically, what this means is that during the liquidity event, the 2 weeks, the full 14 days, the pair of bone and F has been allocated a share of 46 million bone. Leash F has been allocated about 10 million. SHIB F 7 million, and so forth. Just pretty much going down. And depending on how much of this particular pair you have, you'll get a small portion of that, or a large portion if you have something, if you have a larger portion as well. So let me try and explain what a liquidity pair is. For those of you who don't know, if you do know, I suppose you can skip this part. It shouldn't take about 2-3 minutes. But a liquidity pair. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create one of these pairs, at least visually, just so I can demonstrate what it is, because hopefully you'll find it's a good explanation. We're going to try and create this pair here, SHIB F. I'm just going to give a good example. Okay, imagine the SHIB token. Let's say we had one of those, and we have Ethereum. That's the logo for Ethereum. There was also one. And imagine that SHIB had a value of $1. I'm just simplifying this so that, so everything here will work. And imagine Ethereum also had a value of $1. So, so if I want to create a pair of SHIB F, let's say I decided to say I buy $500 worth of SHIB token, and I'm going to buy $500 as well worth of Ethereum. So now I have a pair of equal dollar value, and it just happens that they also have equal weighting. So that means I've provided $1,000. That is 500 worth of SHIB, 500 worth of Ethereum, and I've provided liquidity of $1,000. So when that happens, a special new token is going to get created, which is a combination of these two, and it's called ShibF, and it's given 500, sort of representing that, you know, that's its weighting, I guess, 500. So now that I've explained that, now let's explain a pool. Let's just say that's me here, Ace. That's my 500, which I've just created. I bought 500 tokens, which are actually $500 each of Ethereum and SHIB. That's my share. Then we have my friends here: James, Michael, Amy, and Elon. James has the same. Michael has 250. Amy has 750, and Elon has 1,000. This is how much ShibF each of these guys have. So this makes up our pool. Our pool, we have a total of 3,000 of these pool tokens, which makes up a total of 6,000 liquidity. And you see here, these are our different percentages that we have. So so what happens is when we provide this liquidity, into a swap, in this case ShibaSwap, the pool has a total of 6,000. So what liquidity does is it helps. So when other people make transactions, this is where the liquidity, the money to facilitate those transactions happens. And every time a swap takes place, let's just say somebody buys $2 worth of SHIB, you know, or Ethereum, or creates a swap or something like that, we get a percentage of, I think it's twofold. I think it's over here. Let's just see. Yeah, we will get a percentage of the bone. Of bone will be allocated to us right there. And that's pretty much how it works. There are, you know, some complications. The risk eventually comes in is obviously the values of coins doesn't remain static all the time. So what tends to happen is, let's just say Ethereum drops in value and it becomes 0.8. Then if I ever decide to try and pull out my SHIB, my token, I'll sort of pull it out at a loss, because remember I put in $1,000, even though I may have gained some rewards, but in that's a lesson for another time. Well, I just wanted to explain to you basically what a pair is. Yeah, and I think that's, now that you know what that is, so now you can create any of these pairs to support the liquidity of ShibaSwap, and you'll be rewarded with each pair's allocated amount of bone. So what I also have done is, in preparation for ShibaSwap, over the past couple of weeks, I happen to have created some pairs in Uniswap. I believe if you read the liquidity swap event here, it says here, you can also bring liquidity for selected pairs from Uniswap or SushiSwap. These are other existing swaps which already exist. So ShibaSwap gives us the ability to import those pairs which we already have with other swaps, and we bring them into swap, and then we can automatically begin to earn bone. So you can either create your pair in ShibaSwap, or you can import a pair if you already have it in either Uniswap or SushiSwap. I happen to have done that, so I'm going to try and see if I can show you that. You see, this column here is I'm going to try and show you what I think my share might be based on. So I personally have Leash F, ShibF, FWBTC, and this one here, Ether and USDC, and I also have a little bit of this one. I just have very small amounts because I wanted to test out what it is all about. And in those pairs which I created in Uniswap, I currently have 1%, my share of the pool is 1% in Uniswap. And if I was to have those to get the percentages, as in to use the same percentages which I currently have in Uniswap, I'm just going to import them here. I've manually typed them. This is how much bone I can expect to receive. So there's a total bone of about 2,000. That's assuming that these share rates will be the same. And what I've just simply done here is this is my total bone earnings. This here is coming from here. These are all, like, once I import or create my pairs, after the 2 weeks, as long as nothing else changes, and things will change. That's why this is a hypothetical. I can earn a maximum of about 2,143 bone. And that's here, 2,143 bone. And I'll also stake a lot of my SHIB. So I'm going to stake a bunch of it. And I've just put a hypothetical amount here. All I've done is, I think I've told myself that maybe I'm going to get 0.0043% of the stake according to how much SHIB I'm going to stake. And over the 2 weeks, that's going to give me about $118. And this part is hypothetical. I sort of guessed that amount. So the total bone which I'll be able to get over the 2 weeks is that much, totaling to 2,340. So that's how much I expect to get. That's but there's a lot of assumptions here. My share could be a lot less. My share could be a lot more. But the biggest takeaway here is definitely providing leash. If you want to get a lot of bone, providing liquidity is the best way for you to gain a lot of rewards. And remember, we have a 14-day window period where bone will be getting minted at a very, very high rate. After that, it's going to start decreasing. It's going to start decreasing. We'll start getting less and less rewards. And as that's happening, it's important to know that ShibaSwap will probably start getting very popular because the price is going to go up, and that's going to attract whales. And when whales come in, they're going to start buying tons of SHIB, and they are going to start staking it because they're going to want to get a piece of that bone action as well. And then chances are my liquidity share pool is also going to start getting less and less. Everything's going to start diminishing unless I start, reinvesting any of my gains, which I definitely will be. If you're reinvesting any SHIB, reinvesting any bone which I've earned, staking it right back into the system. For example, here you see I don't have any pairs created for bone ETH. Why? Because bone doesn't exist. But at some point I will, and that's very lucrative because bone has the highest earnings. The bone ETH pair, has the highest earnings. And I think that is pretty much what I wanted to show you. I could probably finish it off by saying, let's just see how much I can expect. 2,340. I'll go to my bone calculator. I'll put, let's say, 2,340. So these are my rewards from bone, and if and when the market cap gets to 1.4 billion, which is entirely possible, even within a year. I've already made 13,000 without putting in any more money, and that's good. That's good for me. And can you see how attractive this will be for the whales out there? Where the whales out there are going to start seeing that, and a whale is someone who has big amounts of funds to throw. Let's just say Elon Musk says, hey, he wants to get his hands on a lot of bone. Imagine whales are able to easily throw in, be able to get 10 times as much as I'd have. We'll say 100 times. That's for a big whale. See, that's already $1 million at a market cap of 1.4 billion. And if that market cap continues to increase, and it will, I'll hypothetically increase that to 6 billion. See, suddenly someone's in staking rewards and burying rewards have given them 5 mil. at a market cap. So this is why it's important. Okay, and I think it's also important to know that the developers of Shiba Inu, actually they didn't take any they didn't allocate any SHIB token to themselves. However, after the SHIB token, this is when they started allocating their, according to Wolf Paper 1, 5% of it was allocated to developers. The current Wolf Paper has a different amount. So even the developers, that's one way of telling you that of acknowledging that Bone is very, very special. So the Bone is where it's at, guys. I've already talked too much. I hope this will inspire you to be prepared and get prepared. We've got a few days left. So the only thing I didn't show you is I really wanted to go into Uniswap and show you my exactly where I got these rates, but yeah, I don't think there's a need to do that. So I'll probably finish off and say ShibaSwap is coming. Let's have a quick look at the ShibaSwap interface. This is just screenshots I took. This is the screenshot interface of ShibaSwap. We'll be able to dig, fetch, bury. As you can see, the interface is really good. If you've ever seen Uniswap, it's actually not that good at all in comparison to this. When you collect your wallet, you'll be able to click, connect your wallet, then you get access to these wallets currently. MetaMask and Coinbase wallet are the ones which are active. So if you can connect your Coinbase, your MetaMask, for example, and then it'll say connecting. Then after that happens, you'll be in. And then if you click, I think dig, you can provide liquidity. You can either create a pair, as I said, or you can add liquidity. And this is how you create a pair. For example, Ether, and you can just click. If you click down here, you'll get a list of coins. In this case, we can click leash. And then when you have leash, you can add the liquidity. You can type whatever liquidity you want, and then when that's done, you can finish up. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you like my videos, I like to teach rather than just hype people up. So hopefully this is good for you. Subscribe. I'll promise I'll keep your videos shorter in the future. Otherwise, peace.